Hi guys, it's Melissa Johnson, your independent Scentsy consultant, and I was looking up, because I'm kind of a stickler for how things are pronounced, because I don't want to say it wrong. So I was looking up what I pronounce as Wassail Wonderland, and that comes just based on from around here whenever we sing the Christmas song. Here we go, wassailing. I'm a terrible singer. Da 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 da. Da, 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 da. It's a popular Christmas song. Love and joy come to you, and good tidings. And anyways, so we always say, here we go wassailing. So that's how I've always sung it, if we've sung it. So I love that Scentsy came out with a wax, and I guess they had one just called wassail. A lot of people pronunciate it wassail, and they're not actually wrong, based on the history. And I thought that the history of this was so cool that I had to share, because I never knew until I started to research like how to pronunciate it. So it can be pronunciated wassail. If you go with the cheer version, it can also be pronunciated wassail, like I do, and that's more, I don't know. It just goes based on the history. Now, I use this all. I wish I had saved it, because when I was researching the history of wassail, and all of the things that go with it in Christmas, it is in my Scentsy club, but I wish I had saved some for the next couple days to warm this. And I'm glad it's in my Scentsy club, because I intend to make that kind of like a tradition now, to warm this wax on these days. Oh, but it's so good. It's like orange and mulling spices. But I have to read to you guys some of this stuff, because I think that it's pretty cool. And sorry, you're going to hear my parrot in the background. Who knows? My dog may jump down. It's just part of my life. But one of the things that I was looking up was the story of the 12, I'm just going to hold this up during the whole time, was the 12 days of Christmas. And okay, so the 12 days of Christmas start on Christmas Day and last until the evening of January 5th, known as Twelfth Night. The 12 days have been celebrated in Europe since the Middle Ages and were a time of celebration. So day one, December 25th, Christmas Day, is traditionally celebrated as the birth of Jesus. Day two, which is December 26th, it's also the day when the Christmas carol Good King Wenceslas takes place, or else it's also known as Saint Stephen's Day. He was the first Christian martyr. But day three, December 27th, is Saint John the Apostle Day, I guess. I've never heard that before. I guess it's not a United States thing. Day four, December 28th, the Feast of the Holy Innocents. When people remember, another sad day. The baby boys which King Herod killed when he was trying to find and kill the baby Jesus. Which, if you ever watched the animated movie, The Prince of Egypt, I cried during that part. Day 5, December 29th, is celebrated for St. Thomas. He was the Archbishop of Canterbury in the 12th century and was murdered on the 29th of December in the year 1170 for challenging the king's authority over the church. Interesting, the 12 days of Christmas, aren't they? December 30th, which is the 6th day, is for Saint Egwin of Worcester. I don't know. Day 7, December 31st, New Year's Eve, known as, I'm going to butcher these names, you guys, Hogmanay in Scotland. Also, Pope Sylvester I is traditionally celebrated on this day. He's one of the earliest popes in the 4th century. Okay, in the UK, I'm sure all you UK people know this. New Year's Eve was a traditional day for games and sporting competitions. Archery was a very popular sport during the Middle Ages. And it was the law that it has to be practiced by all men between the ages of 17 to 60 on Sunday after church. Okay, and that was just so that the king had lots of very good archers ready in case he needed to go to war. Day 8th, which is the 1st of January, is celebrated for Mary, the mother of Jesus. Day 9th, which is January 2nd, is celebrated for Saint Basil the Great and Saint Gregory. I'm not even going to pronounce his last name. Two important 4th century Christians. January 3rd, which is day 10, Feast of the Holy Name of Jesus. This remembers when Jesus was officially named in the Jewish temple. It's celebrated by different churches, not mine, on a wide number of different dates. Okay. January 4th, which is day 11, Saint Elizabeth Ann Seton, the first American saint who lived in the 18th and 19th centuries. Also celebrated the feast of Saint Simon someone who lives on a small platform on the top of a pillar for 37 years. Interesting. And then the 12th day of Christmas, which is January 5th, traditionally, also known as Epiphany Eve, and for St. John Newman, who was the first bishop in American. Okay, so the 12th night, and I guess Shakespeare wrote a book, a play, the 12th night. Sorry, I haven't read that one. I read Macbeth in school, but okay. So the 12th night was a big time of celebration with people holding large parties. During these parties, often the roles in society were reversed, with the saints being served by rich people. This dated back to the medieval and Tudor times, when 12th night marked the end of winter, which had started on the 31st of October, which is All Hallows Eve, and we celebrate that as Halloween. At the start of the 12th night cake was eaten. This is a rich cake made with eggs, butter, fruit, nuts, and spices. I assume that's what we consider fruit cake. The modern, and I have an amazing, I'm not talking about like the store-bought heavy icky cake. I mean, I'm talking, I have a recipe for fresh homemade fruit cake that is amazing to die for. Anyways, and the modern Italian panettone, oh, I'm sorry, I butchered that too, I'm sure, is the cake we currently have that's most like the old 12th night cake. A dried pea or bean was cooked in the cake. My daughter has a friend, I just found out about that this year, and her family cooks a little tiny baby in it. Like a plastic baby, obviously. And whoever found the baby or the cooked pea or bean was the Lord or Lady of Misrule for the night. The Lord of Misrule led the celebrations and was dressed like a king or queen. This tradition goes back to the Roman celebrations of Saturnalia. In later times, from about the Gregorian period onward, to make the 12th night Gentile, 2 tokens were put in the cake, one for a man and one for a woman, and whomever found them became the king and queen of the 12th night party. In English cathedrals during the Middle Ages, there was a custom of the boy bishop, where a boy from the cathedral or monastery school was elected as the bishop on the 6th of December, St. Nicholas Day, and had the authority of a bishop, except to perform mass, until 28th of December. King Henry VIII banned the practice. Imagine that. In 1542, although it came back briefly under Mary the First in 1555, but Elizabeth I finally stopped it during her reign. During Twelfth Night, it was traditional for different types of pipes to be played, especially bagpipes. Lots of games were played, including one with eggs. These included tossing an egg between two people moving further apart during each throw, drop it and lose. So there's a game you could try for Christmas. Passing the egg around on spoons. Another popular game was Snapdragon, where you picked raisins or other dried fruit out of a tray of flaming brandy. That sounds terrible, you guys. Don't do that. The first Monday after Christmas feast has finished, and it was known as Plow Monday. And this is when farming work would all begin again. And in many parts of the UK, people went wassailing on the 12th night of Christmas. The 12th night is also known as Epiphany Eve, as I was saying. And in many countries, it's traditional to put the figures of the wise men, or the three kings, into the nativity scene on Epiphany Eve, ready to celebrate Epiphany on January 6th. So I thought that was kind of cool. It's also traditional to take your Christmas decorations down following 12th night. 12th night is also the name of a famous play, there you go, written by William Shakespeare. It's thought it was written in 1601 or 1602 and was performed at Candlemas in 1602, although it wasn't published until 1623. So, wassailing. It's a very ancient custom that is rarely done today. The word wassail comes from the Anglo-Saxon phrase wassail, and that's why you can say it the other way, I guess, which means good health. Originally, the wassail was a drink made of mulled ale, curdled cream, roasted apples, eggs, cloves, ginger, nutmeg, and sugar. It was served from huge bowls, often made of silver or pewter. Jesus College in Oxford University has a wassail bowl that is covered in silver. It can hold 10 gallons of drink. Wassailing was traditionally done on New Year's Eve and 12th night, but some rich people drank wassail on all 12 days of Christmas. The wassail drink mixture, sometimes called lamb's wool, because the pulp of roasted apples looked all frothy and a bit like lamb's wool. One legend about how wassailing was created says that a beautiful Saxon maiden named Rowena. Has anyone watched Supernatural? Because if you do, and you're thinking Rowena like I am. Anyways, it says that a beautiful Saxon maiden named Rowena presented Prince Vortigern with a bowl of wine while toasting him with the words, wassail. Over the centuries, a great deal of ceremony developed around the custom of drinking wassail. The bowl was carried into a room with great fanfare. Sorry about the parrot. A traditional carol, it would be cool if she could sing that song, huh? A traditional carol about the drink was sung, and finally the steaming beverage was served. From this, it developed into another way of saying Merry Christmas to each other. One of the popular wassailing carols went like this, and we all know this one. Here we come a wassailing among the leaves so green. Here we come a wassailing so fair to be seen. Love and joy come to you, and to you your wassail too. And God bless you and send you a happy new year. And God send you a happy new year. And I will not sing that because you don't want me to. In parts of England, such as Somerset and Sussex, where apples were grown, especially for cider, wassailing still takes place on 12th night, or sometimes New Year's Eve or Christmas Eve. People go into apple orchards and sing songs, make loud noises, dance around to scare any evil spirits, and also wake up the trees so they will bring good crop. It's also common to place toast, which has been soaked in beer, into the boughs of the trees to feed and thank the trees for giving apples. Again, anyone thinking Supernatural here with the scarecrow? Anyhow, and it's where the term to toast someone with a drink comes from. So the people were toasting the trees, and so when you toast the new year, that's where that comes from. So I found that very, very fascinating. And then, bear with me. So 12th night, Epiphany Eve, like I said, was a festival in some branches of Christianity that takes place on the 12th night of the 12 days of Christmas, marking the coming of Epiphany. Sorry, I don't know why she's so noisy. Different traditions mark the date of 12th night as either January 5th or 6th, depending on whether the counting begins on Christmas Day or December 26th. A superstition in some English-speaking countries suggests it's unlucky to leave your Christmas decorations hanging after 12th night, a tradition also variously attached to festivals of Candlemas, which is February 2nd, Good Friday, and etc. Other popular customs include eating the king cake, singing Christmas carols, chalking the door, and having one's house blessed, merrymaking, and attending church services. In most Western ecclesiastical traditions, Christmas Day is considered the first day of Christmas. So when we sing the song, it doesn't really start December 1st through the 12th. It doesn't really, like how people do it. It actually starts on Christmas Day, which I found interesting because you don't really think about that. Well, I didn't. The 12 days are December 25th through January 5th, inclusive, making 12th night on January 5th, which is Epiphany Eve. In older customs, the 12 days of Christmas are counted from sundown on the evening of the 25th until the morning of January 6th, meaning the 12th night falls on the evening of January 5th. And the 12th day falls on January 6th. However, in some church traditions, only full days are counted, so that January 5th is counted as the 11th day and January 6th is the 12th day. So I guess you can make it whichever you prefer. And then in the I don't want to read too much of the history because only some of it's cool with the wassail. Food and drink are the center of the celebrations in modern times, and all of the most traditional ones go back many centuries, and a punch called wassail is consumed, especially on 12th night and throughout Christmas time, especially in the UK, and door-to-door wassailing, similar to singing Christmas carols, was common up until the 1950s. Around the world, special pastries such as tortelle and king cake were baked on 12th night and eaten the following day for the feast of the Epiphany celebrations. In English and French custom, the 12th cake was baked to contain a bean or a pea, or as my daughter's friend, a little tiny plastic baby, so that those who receive the slices containing them should be respectively designated king and queen of the night's festivities. So in colonial America, a Christmas wreath was always left up on the front door of each home and then taken down at the end of the 12 days of Christmas, and any edible portions would be consumed with other foods of the feast. I've never had an edible wreath. Okay. But you see, like, the history is just kind of cool. Fresh fruits were hard to come by and were therefore considered fine and proper gifts and decorations for the tree, wreaths, and home. Again, the tree would be taken down on the 12th nights, and such fruits, along with nuts and other local produce used, would then be consumed. Modern American carnival traditions shine most brightly in New Orleans. They wait. Oh, that must be where the king's cake comes in. I think I've heard about that now that I think about that. Whoever got the slice of the king, I've seen that in the Mardi Gras, like, New Orleans colors. Oh, wow. Okay. It's connecting. I just didn't know what it was for. I've seen the cake like on Pinterest, but I didn't know there was like a little bean, pea, or plastic baby in it. And then in some places, particularly Southwest England, Old Twelfth Night is still celebrated on January 17th. This continues the custom of apple wassail on the date that corresponded to January 6th in the Julian calendar at the time of the change in calendars enacted by the Calendar Act of 1750. So I found that interesting. You can either start it from, which I think the majority of people would, like from Christmas Day to like January 5th. But some people end up creating it, celebrating it, I guess I should say, on the 17th of January. So that's why I kind of chose today. I was thinking about doing it on the 17th because when I first read about it, I saw that it was celebrated on the 17th, and then I was like, wait a minute, like the more I read, the more it's like, you know, Christmas too. So tomorrow would end up being the 12th day of Christmas. So I thought, well, I want to get this in if you really want to celebrate it based on that. And if you have some Wassail Wonderland from Scentsy, perhaps you want to like melt it in your warmer just to celebrate. Maybe look up some recipes, although some of the ones I saw didn't look so good. Maybe Pinterest a yummy one. Let's see. So the punch called wassail is consumed, especially on the 12th night, and throughout Christmas time, especially in the UK, and door-to-door wassailing, similar to singing Christmas carols, goes on. So I think that's fun. Although most people in the US are like over Christmas now. But I wanted to see this recipe. Okay. So, wassail is an ale-based drink seasoned with spices and honey. It's served in huge bowls, often made of silver or pewter. The wassail bowl would be passed around with the greeting wassail, wassail, and wassail meaning be well. It's a Saxon custom that at the start of each year, the lord of the manor would shout wassail, and the assembled crowd would reply something I can't pronounce, but drink and be healthy. As time went on, the tradition was carried on by people from going door to door bearing good wishes and a bowl of wassail of hot spiced ale. In return, people in the houses gave them drink, money, and Christmas fare. Special foods eaten during Christmas time, like minced pies, yuck. I don't like mincemeat pies, yuck. And they believed they would receive good luck for the year to come. The contents of the bowl varied in different parts of the country, but a popular one was known as lamb's wool. This is what grosses me out. It consisted of hot ale, roasted crab apples, sugar, spices, eggs, and cream served with little pieces of toast. It was the toast floating on top that made it look like lamb's wool. And that's where we get the custom of toasting the good year, which I thought was neat. A lot of places, January 17th is celebrated as the 12th night, and is the traditional date of wassailing. But I think that has a lot to do with the apple crops. I think that's more the pagan version. There's 3 different types. There's 3 different ways to wassail, to go wassailing. The first is filling a common bowl or cup, often referred to as a loving cup, and passing it around the room to be shared. Gross, no thank you, especially during COVID. Taking a bowl of wassail around to houses. I like that much better, you know, like scoop it out of the bowl and give it to people. That's better. And then the celebration of the apple harvest and the blessing of the fruit trees. So I just thought that was pretty cool, you guys. So if you still happen to have some wassail Wonderland hanging around from Scentsy, I highly recommend warming it on tomorrow, taking down your Christmas tree, singing some. You don't have to go around to your neighbors who would think you're like plum crazy. But you know, your family, and you could celebrate it. You could look up, you know, the King's Cake, celebrate that. I thought that was so cool that it has to do with Jesus was born on December 25th, and then it took the wise men until January 5th to find him, and that's, you know, the 12th night of Christmas, and Epiphany Eve, or Epiphany, the night of I don't know, Epiphany's celebrated by then. They followed that, you know, like the star of Bethlehem and all that. I just thought that was so cool. And then the wassail, I recommend just like mulling spice, like cider, mulling spices, some orange. Drink that. Kind of a punch. Don't put toast in it. Just eat toast on the side or something. And celebrate each other. And sing, you know, the Christmas carols like Old King Wenceslas and Here We Come a Wassailing, and take down your tree and just celebrate. And if you want to do the King's Cake, and whoever gets the little plastic baby pea or bean, they could be the Lord or Lady of the Night. There's also some history that I looked up. I'm not going to take the time because this is long enough. But I guess like when the people were going like door to door, and they were kind of begging at first for like food and drink or whatever while they were singing and going door to door. And if the wealthier people didn't provide something, that's where the whole bring us some figgy pudding would come from. And if they refused, they would, you know, sing, bring us some figgy pudding right now. So it's just neat to see where all the Christmas carols come from and celebrating. And I just thought that was a fun history thing. I don't want to take the time to write it all down. So I just thought that I would share that with you, and all the fun behind Wassail Wonderland from Scentsy. One of my absolute favorites. It is probably my most favorite scent of the season. So it is in my Scentsy club, and I just wanted to share in celebration of this time of year. So wassail. Everyone have a wonderful New Year's. I forget what wassail means again. Oh, be well. Be well in 2021. So wassail, be well, and drink and be well. Be healthy. All right, everyone, have a happy New Year, and thank you so much. Have a great day.